Hi everyone, welcome to another CSSE revision math review. It's our third one. We're a bit late with this one, mainly because it's been extremely hot. I'm in a room at the back of my garden, and it's my home office, and it can get quite hot in here. Even though I've got AC machine on, when you work throughout the day and you have to make a video at the end, it can be exhausting. So this is a bit of a late video. It's not live like our previous two. It's a recorded version. But please feel free to ask any questions that you feel you have on your minds. So let's jump onto the iPad and get on with our first few questions. First one, ABCD is a square with vertices at 4, 2, 8, 4, question mark, and 2, 6. So let's plot those down first. So 4, 2 is here. 8, 4 is going to be here. And then I've got 2, 6 as well. 2, 6 is here. And I can see from this that a fourth point is going to be around about here, okay, to make a square, because there's a square, right, equal distance apart. Another way to check this is for me to be able to see that I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4 squares down and 2 across. And I'm going to do the same thing again, but not 4 down. This time I'm doing 4 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 up. 1, 2, and the same thing again. 4 up and 2 across, and 4 across and 2 down. And I have a perfect square as well. Okay, why is that important? That's because what I'm trying to replicate here is the fact that I am always the same distance away from each vertex. So I'm 4 across and 2 down, or 2 across and 4 down, or 4 across and 2 up, and so forth, away from the next vertex. So it's always the same distance apart, and therefore it makes that perfect square. So the coordinate for C, which would be here, is 6, 8. So work out the coordinates for C. That would be 6, 8. Question B, what is the coordinates of the midpoint? One way to work out the midpoint, let me use a different color here, is to go across diagonals, make diagonals here and here. And I can see that where they meet is the midpoint, which is 5, 5. So my midpoint is 5, 5 here. Then finally, what is the area? Common mistake is 16 square centimeters. That would not be right. This is not 4 squares across. It's a little bit more than 4 squares across because of the diagonal. Okay, so that's a common mistake that we make. One method I would use to solve this question would be for me to work out the area of the larger square that I've just made. Yeah, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across. Sorry, 6 down rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across. That's the lovely square, 6 by 6 square. And so I know 6 times 6 is 36 square units. Okay, so that's square units here. We don't know if it's centimeters, meters, millimeters, we don't know, but square units should be fine. Okay, 36 square units. So all of this 36 square units, I've got this section that is not part of the square that I'm trying to work out the area of, and this, and this, and this. I've got 4 lots of those. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4 by 2 triangle. So 4 times 2 divided by 2 is equal to 4 square units. Square units. And so I've got 4 lots of 4 square units. That's 16 square units that I don't want to have in my final area. So 4 times 4 is 16 square units that I need to subtract from the 36. So 36 take away 16 is equal to 20. So it's going to be 20 square units as my area for this square. So hopefully that made some sense. And we can move on to question 2. So question 2, there's a mistake in this question. I'm not sure exactly what I was thinking of, but I know I had the question in my mind. But when I wrote this out, I think there's a mistake here. So I wouldn't worry about this one. Sorry if you did spend a lot of time, or your child spent a lot of time trying to answer this question. There was a mistake here. I'm not sure exactly where there was a mistake, but I've got to figure that out and come back to you on that one. Question 3 is one that you might think that I made a mistake on, but it's not the case. It's a question where we are asking the children to really use everything in the question to solve the problem. It says that there are 120 students. A lot of children will start this off and they won't be sure how to solve this because they don't know how to start this. They don't know what information they can add firstly. But the one piece of information that's missing is the total here is 120. If that's 120, then we can work out what this is, and we can work out what this is quite quickly. So 120 take away 40 is 80, take away 2 is 78. So I can work out that 78. What I might do, I might just use a different color so that you know it's my handwriting for the solution. So that's 78. 78 add 42 is 120, yep. I've got 38 add 56 here. 8 add 6 is 14. 3 tens add 5 tens is 80. 80 add 14 is 94. So therefore this must be 26 here. All right, 26, 94 add 26 is 120. And then I've got, if that's 26, that's 14. This must be 12. So I can straight away see I'm starting to fill in each part. And you can see that it's quite a smooth process. 24 add 12 is 36. This is 42, so that's going to be a 6 here. If that's 6 and this is 38, that must be 32. If that's 24 and that's 56, 56 take away 24, I could do that. 56 take away 20, it's going to be 36, take away 4 is 32 again. And I should have all of that adding to 78, all of this adding to 120, and vertically and horizontally, everything should add up to the totals here, and that's how I would solve this. The key to this though is that sometimes the question gives you some information in the written part of the question and not the visual part, which is the table. You have to use everything in the question to be able to solve this one, okay? Otherwise you're going to miss out on the 120 and miss out on the question. Question 4 is a bit of a tricky one. In a group, there are 23 that are blonde. I know my blonde circle is here. All of that has to add up to 23 because it says in the question, 23 are blonde. And therefore, what do I do next? I know that 15 is already accounted for that are blonde. That must mean that this here must be 8. There must be 8 girls that are blonde. We also need to be really focused on what each section means. This section is girls that are blonde. This section is where the girls that are not blonde must go. This section must be the boys, therefore, that are blonde. Boys, blonde. And this section must be the boys that are not blonde. Like that are not blonde. Okay, and so when the question comes up, how many boys are there? Well, I know there are 15 boys here that are blonde and 8 boys that are not blonde. How many boys are there? Is 15 plus 8, 23 boys altogether, blonde and non-blondes as well. How many blonde girls are there? There are 8 girls that are blonde. How many non-blondes are there? Well, I know this whole section is blonde. This whole circle, sorry, is blonde. 23 add 8 are the non-blondes. 23 add 8 is equal to 31. 31 are not blonde. Hope that made sense. It's a bit of a tricky one there. But again, it's just about understanding what each circle means and then the intersection, what that means as well. And what the 8 in this case, outside of the circles, also represents. If we can clearly identify that first, then our head is clear, and when the questions pop up, it's not going to be a big problem for us to identify the sections that we need. Okay, question 4 done. Question 5, a bit of a tricky one. You might have missed this small looking square, which means a right angle, which means that it's 90 degrees. And out of a circle, that's a quarter of the circle. And therefore, this section is the only one that's missing, which is the yellow section here. And therefore, it's going to be 200 divided by 4, which is 50. This must be equal to 50. Okay, there must be 50 that are that favored yellow. Okay, the next part is the fact that we know that these three must add up to 150 because altogether there's 200. Okay, so 150 in the ratio, what was it? Red to green to blue is in the ratio 1 to 4 to 1, and all of this adds up to 150, right? And so 150 divided by 4 plus 1 plus 1, 6. 6 parts, 150 divided by 6 is equal to 25, and therefore there must be 25 that like red, 25 that like blue, and 25 times 4, 100 that like green the most. So once we've got that, how many preferred yellow? Well, we know that's 50 now. How many preferred green? That's going to be 100. How many didn't prefer red or green? So 100 and 25 preferred red and green. Therefore, 75 didn't prefer 75, 100 plus 50 plus 25 didn't prefer red and green. Okay, those are our answers for that question on pie charts. Next, a shop decided to reduce a laptop from 450 to 270 pounds. What is the percentage reduction for this laptop? First thing we need to know how much it was reduced by. 470 take away 270 tells us how much it was reduced by. That's going to be 180 pounds, right? Is that right? 180 pounds. If we take 50 away from, 80 away from 450 is 370. Take away another 100 is going to be 270. So yeah, 180. So it's reduced by 180 pounds. Reduced. So 180 pounds was reduced, and it was originally 450 pounds. So what we're trying to work out is what percentage 180 out of 450 is equal to. You can cancel this down, divide both by 10. That's 18 over 45. I can see that they're both in the 3 times table and 9 times table, so I can reduce that even further to 2. 18 divided by 9 is 2. 45 divided by 9 is 5. So 2/5. So it was reduced by 2/5. We know 2/5 is equal to 4/10, and 4/10 is 40%, which is also 40 hundredths, which is 40%. Okay, so it was reduced by 40%. We can double check that. 10% of 450 is 45. 20% must be 90. 20% is 90. 40% must be 180, and it was reduced by 180. So yeah, it seems like we've done it right. Question 7 was a bit of a tricky one, because I think what I could have done to help you is maybe have these 2 lines here indicating that these 2 are the equal sides of this isosceles triangle. I think that would have been sensible for me to do, so it's my mistake again. So apologize for that. An isosceles triangle ABC is translated 2 up, 3 right. What are the new coordinates of C after the translation? So if these are the 2 lines that are equal, then that means that if it's an isosceles triangle, then it's equal distance apart from this point to this point and this point. These 2 points are equal distance apart. So therefore, if we're going from -3 on the x-axis, right, -3 to 0 on the x-axis, that's the difference of 3. And so this point here, the x value must be 3, because there's a difference of 3 on one side. There must be a difference of 3 on the other side as well. So this is a difference of 3. So this must also, because of isosceles, this must also be 3. So we've got x value. The y value is easy because it's going to stay the same as this on B. That's the y value, so it must be 3, -2. That's the current C coordinates. And so we're trying to work out what happens when we translate. Now, the way I've written it down is I've written it on purpose, is to just give you that extra thought process. It says 2 up, 3 right. Normally, we look at the x-axis first, which is the right, left, and then y-axis after, which is up, down. But I put down up first and then right. So what we need to make sure we do is we increase the x-axis by 3, and we increase the y-axis by 2, and that's how we get our new coordinates for this question. C, the new coordinates for C after translation would be 3 plus 3 is 6. And we've got 6 for x-axis because it's going to shift 3 right from 3. And then it's going to go from -2 to 2 up, which is going to be adding 2 more to -2, which is 0. And so 6, 0 is the new coordinates for C. So that's question 7. Question 8. 2 years ago, I bought a watch for £3,000. In the first year, it increased in value by 20%. During the second year, it decreased in value by 20%. What is the watch worth now? The common mistake here is to write £3,000 as your answer. You went up by 20, you went down by 20, it must be the same amount then, right? Plus 20%, take away 20%, back to the original amount. That'll be a mistake because it went up by 20%. Oops, it went up by 20%. And so now, from £3,000, if you add 20%, 10% is 300, 20% must be 600. So it's now 3,600 end of first year. Okay, end of first year, it's now 3,600. Now from that year is reduced by 20%. So it's not 20% of the original amount, it's 20% of the amount it's worth now, right? Which is 3,600. So 20% of 3,600, I'm going to take away 20% of that. So 10% is 360. 20% must be double that, £720. So what we're going to do is 3,600 take away 720. 3,600 take away 600 is going to be 3,000. Take away another 100, 2,900. Take away 20, 3,000, 2,880 pounds is what we're looking for. So that's going to be the new figure, right? The new value of this watch after being increased by 20% of the price. It's worth 3,600. Then it reduces by 20% of the new price, new value, which is 2,880 pounds at the end. Our final question is question 9. Bit of a tricky one. Complete the missing values on the number line below. Seems quite simple at first, but then we realize from 0, we're jumping 1, 2, 3. We're making 4 equal jumps to get to -9. So each jump must be -9 or 9 divided by 4. If we just think of it as +9 for the time being, we don't have to worry much about the negative at the moment. That will tell us how much it jumps up by. 9 over 4 as a mixed number, 4, 8. That's 2 wholes and a quarter. So actually it goes up and down by 2 and a quarter. So -2 and a quarter, -4 and 2/4, which is a half, and then -6 and 3/4, which is 3/4, and then it's gonna be -9, and then it's gonna be -11 and a quarter as well. Okay, and this is gonna be 2 and a quarter here. So the key was to work out how much each jump is valued at, and so here we do 9 divided by 4. You can use that as a mixed, so 9 divided by 4 can be seen as a fraction and then a mixed number, and then it's quite simple for us to then work out what each of those yellow squares are worth. And there we are. We've got all 9 questions done. Well, 8 questions because question 2 there was an error in that one, so ignore question 2. But hopefully the sequence of the questions that we've gone through so far, the revision maths, not just this one, covers quite an in-depth number of topics, right? Depth number of topics. And therefore, hopefully what you'd get from going through these revision maths is quite a few different topics that we've covered. And so if there's any weak points that you found, it's a good idea to revise further on those topics. We've got at least one more revision mat. I'm going to try to release that. I can't release it tomorrow, but I will release that next week sometime, and you'll find out as soon as I've done that. We will try to do one more after that. But apart from that, that's all from us. If you have any tuition needs, whether it's up to GCSE, A-level maths, please do let us know and tell your friends and family. We would love to support them in their CSSE needs, as well as independent school entrance exam needs, as well as GCSE and A-level maths needs. We've got a large number of qualified, absolutely amazing tutors that would love to support your children. So do contact us if you have any needs.